Okay, while we're getting settled in, I think y'all know what to do with the sign-in form. So we're going to do a couple topics today. Some of you know I'm on the, there's an innovation team where we're collecting ideas to get to innovate the business. So I'm on a global team that's working on that. I think in the summertime I did a presentation where I asked for people's ideas. And so there's actually a rewards program. It's actually quite generous. I'll go through about 7 slides or so on the innovation program, and then actually ask for more. If anybody has any ideas, there's a form I passed out, ideas collection form. That's something you can fill out if you have any ideas. Then we can put it into the cycle for next year. And then after I do my bit, then Craig and Roberto will give us an introduction to Windchill, which is a new PLM document management kind of software. Okay? Cool. So, let's rock. Next slide, please. So, as we mentioned, in the summertime, I did a presentation on soliciting ideas. These weren't just innovation ideas for products necessarily. You know, we are a product company, and so any ideas for new products to go to market, we're always interested in. But also ideas to help our processes here to improve the performance of this business, hopefully to either save us money or make us more money. In fact, we got a number of ideas that had come in. And part of my role as the local champion, that's what they call me, is to collect these ideas, get them approved through Daryl, and submit them to the global team for review. And we got a bunch of ideas, like 8 of them were approved, and they come from all across the business, from Saddle to Tina to Ken to Dan to Craig Tortolot. So a number of ideas that come in. We're always soliciting ideas. You don't have to do it, when I do a presentation like this, whenever you want. So I passed out a paper form, but I do have an electronic form of that as well. If you have any ideas to improve the business, again, it could be process improvements in the shop floor, it could be ways to make your function better, it could be anything to improve the business. I can help you fill in the form. We're always looking to collect ideas. And one of the things that the global team came up with is they want to reward the ideas. They want to reward people for generating the ideas. And of course, if the ideas do come through, get implemented and save us money, then also to reward the individuals for that. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Please. So, even if the idea doesn't get accepted, executed on, we're still going to take all the ideas and put them into a quarterly raffle. And it is company-wide, so across all the businesses. But we will pull basically a name out of the hat, and that person will get a nice reward. So again, we're really trying to encourage people to bring up ideas, what do that apply to this business, and we'll reward people for just doing that basically. Then of course. Upon implementation, so the idea's got to get executed and go all the way through, then there's another award. I'll share that in the next couple slides. So if your idea does get chosen, it does save the company money or make us more money, however that works out, then you actually get a percentage of that money savings. So it's a pretty nice package, I have to say. Of course, the couple things just to be approved, it's got to go through Daryl and then the managing, and then potentially higher up. We're looking for solutions, not necessarily a problem. You just say, hey, we don't pick up the trash every week. Well, that's a problem, not necessarily a solution to that. Not that that's an issue here. But and then we always just want to make sure we're being proactive and looking for continuous improvement. So, good. I am the local champion. I get to sort of evaluate which ones are worthy of going into the raffle. Again, we're looking for real ideas here. Again, they don't have to be product ideas, but ones that will save the company money. Every quarter, I run it through to the HR team, and then there's some money here assigned to the winner. So that's a nice reward, in my opinion. So it's all done in Italy, so it was in euros, but that's 1,100 bucks. So that's the quarterly award, and then if you, if we go through and the idea gets executed and go all the way through, and then we either can produce a turnover of sales, additional sales, or savings, then you can get a percentage of it. If it's up to, if the savings or the extra dollars are up to 500K euro, you'll get 3% of it. That's still a reward to you of like, 3% of 56K, that's some money. Or if it's above 500, we're just giving a $20,000 or 20,000 euro reward of $22,000. So that's some pretty hefty stuff, in my opinion, anyway. So so you can see the rewards are pretty significant if you can if we come up with some ideas and they get executed. Okay. So that's all I had. Do encourage you to bring up the rewards. Bring up the ideas for next quarter. So we're collecting them now. Anytime you have them, just bring them to me or email them to me or however you want to do it, and we'll run them through the system. Questions? Okay.
Okay.
I will turn it over to my colleagues to handle the Windchill introduction.
Stan was shorter than what I expected, so
It's the first time I've been called short. Thank you.
all right, so Windchill. How many people have heard Windchill? How many people have installed Windchill? Okay, good.
Sort of.
All right, so how many people have avoided Windchill? Thank you for your honesty. All right, so this is an introduction to Windchill so that we don't awkwardly avoid it in the hallway when we encounter it. This came out around June. There was an announcement.
This is a different slide. This is a, oops, I threw you a paper here.
We're improvising here. All right, so Windchill is a product lifestyle management software product that is offered by PTC. That's the name of the company that developed it. 1.1 million users. So yes, you are one in a million. So again, it's an internet-based solution. So that presents some opportunities and some challenges. So we're going to work through them though. But this, just so everybody understands, right now, currently we have Sightline and we have Adept. So here you have your products and items. Over here you have your drawings and documents. This is my very weak Venn diagram here. Windchill sort of resides in between both of them. So Windchill is really going to be connected with SAP as that's rolled out in the near future. SAP is beyond the scope of this presentation, so that's another presentation that we'll schedule. So what we want to do is just familiarize you with Windchill, what it is, and that way you'll feel more comfortable with the training program that is offered. So there was an email that went out to all the Windchill users that is specific to your role in the Windchill environment. So this is, we're going to look at a couple of slides, and then we're going to go through a demonstration of how we actually execute these different actions within the Windchill environment. And just so everybody knows, this is not training. This is just to familiarize you with it. You don't learn to swim by watching someone in the pool. So we're going to encourage everyone to do the training, and that's where you're really going to develop your abilities and be adept at using Windchill. There's no charge for that. All right, so the Windchill environment, there are different terms the home screen, breadcrumbs, we'll look at this later on in a bigger view. We have different ways of searching. There's about 3 different ways to do a search, and we're going to show you what the recommended way is. And we have the help, customize our environment. Just like in Adept where you have a work area, well, those that have CAD will have a work area also in Windchill. So we're able to add documents and then navigate through the system with a browse and search. And we'll look at the difference between a browse and a search. All right, so we have a home page in where we'll have tasks, updates, and checked out work. As we're assigned documents or we're working on documents, that's where they're going to appear before they're uploaded into the Windchill system. All right, so browsing the navigator. Again, being part of Denora, this rollout is done primarily in the United States right now, but it's really for the global Denora family. So this is, again, an internet-based system. The servers are in Milan. So this is really centralizing the documentation for the entire group. So you want to see where we are as part of that group, what part of the puzzle we contribute. All right, so we have a navigator that has recently visited. There are different folders or contexts in which we will do work. And then the icons are pretty intuitive. It might take a couple of times to get familiar with them. But again, the training will enable you to get familiar with those icons and how to navigate through there. That's okay. This is an important, there's a little house, home screen. It's always safe to go home. So if you get sort of confused or lost, you can go home. So that's, I found that reassuring. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, so the navigator allows you to search for different documents, different document types. And there's a search up in the upper right-hand corner. That's a global search. So you're searching Colmar, Pittsburgh, and Sugarland. So when we move then to an advanced search, advanced is, in my mind, doesn't really describe what you're doing. You're making a specific search, not necessarily an advanced search. So you're sort of being more specific about what you're looking for, and we'll look at context and how context takes place.
Adds features.
Okay, adds features. So again, the search, we'll look at this a little bit later on. Keywords, and then file name and number. So we'll look at that and how those things are important ways to search. Any questions? Comments? Concerns? All right. All right, so we have the navigator. This panel is basically always on. It can be collapsed just to this brown bar, but this will give you the folders where you need to access the specific content, drawings and documents. All right, and then we have a customize tab where you can add these different fields to your home page if you so desire. Typically, though, you're going to have tasks, updates, and checked out work, especially those that do CAD drawings. There's a recently accessed button that will allow you to go back to documents you just might have been, so you don't have to do another search, but you can just use that as a shortcut. Again, this is an internet-based system. It's basically, you're doing a web search. The servers are looking at our specific documentation. All right, and then there's quick links up in the upper right-hand corner. That's up all the time. That's where you have a help button, the learning connector, and then some of these other menu items, you're not probably going to use them. You might go into My Settings to change the time zone that you're in, but for the most part, once you have it set up, it's going to operate that way consistently. All right, so we have information pages. All right, so you do a search on a document or drawing, and you're going to get an information page. It's pretty much set up the same way, where you have this green bar at the top with tabs that will identify the information that you can navigate to. You can create custom tabs. I'm not sure what level or role if you can do that. So for the most part, there's no need to be adding any tabs. All right, so in this example, we looked up a CAD part, BM922, and it's a drawing. And then we have a preview window on which we can click on. So then we have the file name, file number, which are the same. And then the name, though, gives you the title of the document. So again, here's a CAD part. So you've done another search. And does this have the I? No, sorry. No, not yet. Okay. So again, it gives you the file name, category, and some other information that might not be relevant for your search.
Do you know what's in each category? Like you're saying CAD part. It sounds like there's more categories than that. How do you know that is going to be in CAD part? If you're looking for that drawing for the VM.
Right, you're going to get some indicators. There'll be a AutoCAD icon here and here. You also know from the file extension. There are, I'm sorry.
There's the part one.
Right, so the way Windchill operates is that there are objects. So like a record for an item or a document. These records then can have linked to them multiple documents. So you might think of it as a file with a bunch of different pieces of paper in there referring to different specific features or aspects of that object. So objects are important. Now you'll notice here's a CAD file. You see this CAD icon? Down here, you see a gear icon. That is what they call a WT part, Windchill technology part. So you can put a part into the system, and we're going to look at this a little bit later, and then you associate documents to that part. This is where we're getting the sightline adept overlap, and where it's going to be bolted up to the SAP system. So just to give you a big picture framework of how this system operates.
We're still going to keep it depth then, right?
For the time being, there will be a phase out. So I was thinking that we're sort of like in a relay race where the one runner transfers the baton to the other one. We're at that transferring the baton sort of spot with the Windchill and Adept. So, but yes, Adept will be a legacy system, as Sightline also will be a legacy system. Any other questions? Those are good questions, by the way. All right, so here's again, you've done a search, you've identified the CAD. This is another important little icon with the I. It stands for information. So that's what you would click on then to get more information about that record, that item. So when you clicked on that, then you get more specific information. And then you see that it is an object with this number, lifting bar, and then the version. And that, here, maybe go back to that one. Okay, so this is another aspect of the Windchill environment. When it comes to versions, the number to the left of the decimal point is the revision. The number on the right side of the decimal point is the iteration. So there's iterations, revisions that make up a version. So that's a Windchill aspect. So that might take us
It's
a
an
little bit.
iteration. I mean, I know what it is, but what is it in this context?
If you sign a document out and you modify it in any little way, Windchill is going to keep track of those iterations. But if you don't fully revise the document,
So when
it's
you
not going to
revise it,
version
it
it up.
resets
Yeah,
to
so
zero
it's
then.
tracking whatever's being done.
So when you revise it formally, it resets to zero.
Then, you know, and there's a promotion workflow, and that's part of the training. We're not really going to get into that aspect of it, but again, this is an overview, familiarize you with the user interface and the type of information that's going to be available. Rob?
You may want to answer this after you're done with the presentation, but does this include documents that use Adept or Acrobat as well, such as procedures and processes and all the other good things that you do?
Yes, it will. There's some documentation has been loaded up, like the Adept documentation folder is all up there. I guess, I don't know what you want to call that team. The Windchill team decided some of the stuff is going to stay on the iDrive in Acrobat at this point until we need a bigger consensus to make sure that we do it correctly so that we don't create any inefficiencies. So right now, most of the documentation is just from Adept, and there were downloads and what would you call it, Craig? Sightline data has been loaded up into the system. So it's considered, there's a
Bill of materials.
bill of materials in here. So Windchill is going to handle the bill of materials that are currently handled in Sightline. Whereas SAP is going to tell you what the materials are, but Windchill is going to handle the structures for those products.
And if I could just, that word design that's on the top line in brackets, it's going to be misleading to a lot of us at first. It has nothing to do with the level of which you're looking at. Design is the generic file. When the bill of material becomes site-specific, design gets replaced with Colmar, Sugarland, and Pittsburgh. So design is like the general file, and then specific location bill of materials for a job get a different name. And they're not Colmar, Pittsburgh, or Sugarland, as it would be, you think. I forget they were, I haven't looked at it for a while, DF1 and DF2, something like that. But anyway, just put that design out of your, just don't look at it.
Area 51.
Yeah, yeah, we are, that's right, we're 51, 52, and 50, that's right.
So we're 51, but we don't want to get too far into the weeds here. All right, so the information pages, again, some of it's redundant.
Oh, no, hang on, Bob. This was, the green bar at the top we were going through right now, we were going through detailed content. See that little green bar that's down in the lower right-hand corner? When you get to a structure, it has another sub-bar. So,
Okay, yes. All right, and maybe go back one tab, sorry. All right, so then again, these green tabs give you information. History, that's where you would look at revisions, versions of this document. Where used, they'll tell you where this item is used in what structures.
Craig, can you hit that sub-bar and let's see what's part of that bill of material?
no, we're not, we're,
These are images on a PowerPoint
yeah,
presentation.
we'll get there, Craig. Go ahead.
All right, so again, information pages. How we're going to utilize these, right now there's no data in here because we don't have any data to map it from in the other system. So again, Denora Milan is building for the future. So this is really where we're going with this Windchill software.
This is the document.
All right, so, let's see, all right, so again, we saw that there was what we did is downloaded the notes from the objects in Sightline and created Word documents that are associated with the object. So that's what this was. In this case, it was called Item Master Notes. And then it gives you a date modified. And again, this object is described by these CAD documents, and there you see the CAD icon and the DWG file format.
Okay, sure.
All right, so we have the search bar at the top. What you see at the top, this is the global search. You're searching everywhere. You don't necessarily want to do that. You're going to get too many results. So, but this does have okay, so again, you can further define what you're searching for. Change request, change notice, problem report, CAD document, document, or a part. So here we did a search. This is previous searches that Craig had done with his system. So when you do an advanced search, this is a specific search, this is the screen that you get, and you see that you're at the search versus the browse. You want to be on the search, and now you're searching for a specific item. You have your types of items, CAD documents, parts, are typically what we're familiar with here at Colmar. The context, this is where you further define what database you're looking at. The global one looks at everybody. Sugarland, Pittsburgh, Colmar at this point, but there will be more added as the system is developed. So we'll show you how to specifically look at stuff in Colmar. And then down here you have your criteria, name and number, file name, item name, number, excuse me, and then the title.
Just further.
Okay,
Bigger view.
this is sort of zooming in on the type of object that you're searching for. And then the context, this is just a bigger, and then the criteria. In this case, we're going to search for BM922, that lifting bar which we're using as an example. And you'll notice the asterisk there, that's the wildcard search. You'll notice as you go through the training modules, the asterisk is used quite frequently because then it'll find all the objects that are related, in this case, to that number. So we'll look at that. So, okay, so they did the search. We have an object and a CAD document that's describing that object.
Cool.
So then you can search within your results. You might do a search and get 10, 20, 100 results. This allows you then just to search within a table of results that you received. And in this case, you notice that it doesn't feature the object anymore. The return to search results of just the drawing because you specifically requested that file extension. So then, for the most part, people are going to be searching for documents and probably printing documents as they use the system. So here we search for this drawing, this lifting bar. On the results, do you want to go back there for one? Just so, there will be a little tiny glyph, I guess, a GIF showing of the drawing. And when you click on that, it'll pull up a larger view, and then you can launch Creo View, and there's an icon for that. So then you're going to launch the actual view of that. So that's the Adept Viewer portion of the package. So it'll launch Creo View. A lot of times it's going to ask you to reload. It's going to ask you to sign in because you're actually running another piece of software. But once you do that, as you're working in the Windchill environment, you don't have to do that all the time. So then you'll get your view, and you can expand that and modify it as you want, and then you would just use the file print, and then you would select your criteria for, in this case, Craig's going to create a PDF. There's preferences, advanced. You want to set it to monochrome, otherwise it's going to print in color. We've configured everyone's adept to print monochrome now. Otherwise, you're going to get yellow, cyan, and red lines on a white piece of paper, and it's going to be hard to read. And it generates the PDF file.
Can you view it in monochrome?
Yes,
Yes.
you can set your
Okay, so
personal
that core viewer, you can use it like a screen.
yes,
It's not just printing.
We'll show.
yes.
Okay.
We can look at that then. Okay, any questions regarding? All right. So Craig's going to actually launch the Windchill environment. And you'll notice that right now he is in the production environment. Most people only have the test environment for the training purposes, so we don't create issues with the data that's been uploaded. And then we have the customize button that he can then add these fields to his home page. And that's just like your adept home page, your work area, where you could have multiple things, as things get assigned to you, or what you have in your work area. So that would be the same type of arrangement. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So these are where you can, and again, filter. Just showing the filtering that I'm going to just look at the updates for parts. Check it out. And you can set it to all if there's any there, so there's none that's checked out. If you go to this one, you have the same, no it doesn't. This one just has that.
Okay, so this gives you a bigger overall view of the user interface. You have your navigator bar that's either open or collapsed, and there it's open and collapsed. The home button. And right now you see there are no breadcrumbs. We're not navigating down into any of the context. So we'll do that. So Craig's going to do an advanced, which one so he's going to select his file types, favorite types of objects.
Yeah, and your favorites can be customized. You can go to the add. Again, not to make it too complex, but you have this where you then can add all the different types of documents that are in here. Right now, mine's defaulting to CAD, project, document, and part. So let's say we wanted to look for those three. You could do that. You could even do all types, which means you're going to get more than just these four. But again, if you want your favorites, you can pick on those if you want. This one that we showed in the example when we were in PowerPoint, say we wanted to add Colmar, you'd hit the add. It defaults to all contexts. You would then just type in Colmar and you can search for it. And you'll see it comes up, so it's telling you that you have the product related to the Colmar site. You'll click on that you've selected it, you okay it. It'll add that into your contacts area. So now it's your favorites of Colmar. We can come down here. You can remove any of these. Say we wanted to look for that BM922. We could, if we wanted, add some others. You can hit the plus, and you can add in some others. You can even add in the name twice if you wanted to do a more refined search of maybe BM922 and everyone that has the word lift or whatever. So you can have number and name, excuse me, it should have been number. There was like I'm saying, you can duplicate the same field twice. You can leave it blank for that matter, and then we would be able to hit our search. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we get our 2, which we do. There's actually a third one in the list, but we didn't get that one. So,
And that's where you use the asterisk.
right.
Wild cards.
So here's your types. So it's a part, a BM 922 is a part, and a BM 922 is the CAD drawing, which has its icon for its thumbnail, if you want to call it, and/or the document of the lift bar itself. We get it to minimize again. Being it's web-based, it's sometimes a little friendly and not. All right, now, I hit F5 there, so the screen just refreshed, and it's something that you try not to do often, because you can see it took us to a different location than what we were. Your search is still over here, right here, so we could either hit that, or we could come over here, and we can find the same searches here as well. So there's kind of different ways of getting to the same place, back to where we were. The other icon that's pretty significant is this, because you can't, as we would think sometimes, click on that. Because it's underlined right now, you actually can, but not in every case will the number field be clickable. So to get to the information about that part, you would have to actually go to the eye. So the eye is really the one to hit if you want to open up that part.
And the reason why that's clickable is because that's not an object that contains.
Right. Not every time is yes.
Okay. It'll directly go to a document or a
Correct.
item or whatever you
Now,
want.
here's what they call that breadcrumb up here. It's just a hierarchy of where you are. We were in products, we were in Colmar, and we were in a folder called CAD. That's where all your CAD files are stored. So this is that breadcrumb they're talking about.
Right, so the database is broken down into folders. We could show that if you go to the browse.
Yeah. What we're trying to show with this step is we wanted to go in and look for a drawing. We knew it was BM 922. We put that number in. We found it. We clicked. We get our icon. You can, again, several ways. I can click on this, or I can go to the action and say open in preview. So either way. So I just double clicked on this. Now you have to wait for it to open over here. This is like the adept viewer. We're going to start to love this car. And Rob, you had asked a question. I have mine actually defaulting to black and white. Your display, you can change your views that it can come in color or come in black and white. You can make it that the background is black or the background is white. So you can customize your view.
Yeah, you can personalize it, there's no.
Correct.
You can get it to the point where that print is usable, because you have that big menu bar on the left and the big menu up top.
Right.
Because a lot of our, at least out in the shop, we're set up that you just open up the file, we don't print, and we use that to build off of. So you're able to expand them? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I got rid of the menu by just like in all the Microsoft products. Double click on the word, the menu will collapse, and now you have the drawing. A feature that Bob and I were talking and showing is it has this thing over here called viewables. My bar would go hide away. You can actually come over here and say, I want to add a viewable. I'll just show this because it's kind of a nice feature. As soon as we can get something to come up. So we can come over here while we're in the middle of looking at this drawing. We could actually come over and open up another document. And now the viewables are here. So I could be looking at this piece of literature. Didn't have to go anywhere to get that. All right? It's kind of a nice thing. You can actually even open up a whole submittal, a whole PDF of a submittal while you're looking at the lifting bar. So they call it viewables. You get back to the lifting bar, it's here, that is here, or your list of viewables is here. So the lifting bar is one, or I can go back to the other. So kind of easy to navigate. We'll both admit the printing is still not up to par. If you go to print, you'll find that you have all your options that you had before. If we go back to the drawing, and we go to print. So we have it set to fill the page. We actually have asked for, under the advanced, to do it monochrome. We don't have that set, but what we do get is we don't get the margin that we need. It's, I guess you could say it's it's what we get right now. It's designed of what we get. It works as designed. We used to do that in Sightline a lot. It's the WAD feature.
And again, just so we know, when we think about where we are as a company, Sightline, I forget what year that we got that. When we almost went to Sightline 8, maybe a few of us remember that, there was a CAD package for that. And I sat on the presentation for their CAD drawing viewer. The man that was presenting had been with Sightline for 8 years and hadn't seen the version that we were on. And that was a couple of years ago. So again, our legacy system is getting older. Adept, we're running like, I think it's the 2011 version. So now we're about 7 years out. So again, going to Windchill, we're building for the future. Windchill is going to be really mated up, bolted up with the SAP system. So this is the future. So we're going to build. It's not perfect, and we're not trying to
Bob's
present it.
going to work on getting rid of the circles. And hopefully they're going to work on getting the margin back that we should have all the way around, which is a 1/4 inch margin. And you can see some of the lines get a little squirrely and a little messed up. So it's not 100%.
Okay, question, Tina?
Are we gonna be able to select that so we can copy it and put it into a book?
Yeah, you can.
Sure.
You can print a PDF and
Probably
You'd
cleaner.
have to print it into a PDF first. You
Yes.
can't use it as that view, you'd have to print it to a PDF.
right, because
saver.
you're basically looking into something, but you're not. That's not the actual file. Just like the Adept, you still have to print what you're looking at in the viewer to a PDF. Yes.
Right, so if we wanted to search for an item, what would we use on the screen to go search for something, and somebody can give me something to search for? Where would I go? Do I want to go up here? Do I want to go over here? Do I want to go over here? Where would you like to search from? Who remembers what we were supposed to hit? No gift cards are going to be handed out now. Come on.
And I don't have $10 either. So.
Anyway, you can hit this search right here. It'll take you to the advanced search. We would say start a new search. No one has probably asked the question, but maybe you've been asking. There's a word keyword up here. We're not required to use it. They've given us the ability to actually use the ones down the bottom. You can see that it's default still to the 3 major groups of information that we have in here. Colmar. So what do we want to look for?
DES 5,000 with a 9-foot diameter tank.
Yeah, right.
Something I would need to look up.
I'm trying to think, how would that have been stored? Huh?
I do
I
have
would
a
do it
question.
while with DES wildcard with the asterisk.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
true.
try it.
Anything with DES in it,
Yeah, well, this is the whole idea.
that should give any department DES in it. You're
Well,
not
that could
gonna get,
be-
you're gonna
yeah.
get a description.
So right now, we've got 72 objects. I'm not quite sure if we've even got what we're looking
Well,
for.
yeah, desk kit. We have
That's
a
what you need. That's how.
DESD. So any plate, that's a good example, DES. So we have a superheater, we have a desiccant, we have a DES simplified sizing, design calculations, because again, DES, you did your search on those
Right.
3 characters, that string, and it's gonna look, and in this case, it found 8 objects.
That's where it begins with, if you did an asterisk
If you did
before
the
it-
asterisk before and after, then it will find any place that those 3 characters exist in that field. And when you go through the training, you'll notice that the training videos, a lot of times you'll see that asterisk wildcard put in the search. So that's going to be something we want to think about moving forward. We're going to be using the asterisk.
How many
Okay,
objects
so
were
now we have
loaded?
845 objects with that.
How many for Colmar were loaded when you set it up, total?
70,000 of something, what was that, parts?
Parts, yeah,
Or
and then I
lit,
think
or documents maybe.
we pulled almost everything from a depth, so that's 57,000 drawings. So that's PDFs and DWGs.
So,
What was your size?
DES 5,000.
You said 10 foot?
10 foot tank. Where you select the type, there's drawing and CAD, there's 2 things. Aren't all drawings done in CAD? So,
This is one of the features of Windchill. You can have a drawing that's a PDF. That could look like, you could print it out, it would look like a drawing. CAD is a specific file type, a .dwg, or an inventor part. So the way this system handles it, it sees CAD as a DWG file that is different from a PDF that might be a scanned image or a PDF of a CAD. You can't load, and that was one of the things I struggled with. I'm like, well, it's a drawing.
Yeah.
It's all drawings, not in the Windchill environment. So CAD is specific to a drawing, a DWG or an inventor part. We don't have inventor parts loaded from Colmar, but the other sites do. Good question.
In Adapt, you occasionally do have PDFs that come up.
Yes,
When you search.
yes.
You have both CAD and PDF.
And that's why the use of the wildcard will bring up every file type, so that asterisk is important.
I was just looking that by your phone.
Oh, okay. All right, and then do you want to,
What's
we're going to
that?
wrap it up in a minute or two. We don't want to exhaust everyone with Windchill. So Craig's doing another search. Craig, do you want to explain what you're?
Well, I'm going to go, let's see if I can pull one up here that has it. Okay, so here's a material. So it's a dry scrubber. Hopefully there's a structure behind here. So again, this is the main green bar that you have here that has all the structure content. Structure is only, this one is only visible if it's a part. If it's a drawing, it would not have this tab. The structure hopefully is where we're going to have the bill of material behind it. Being that we're not linked to SAP, there's really no important merit to having structures in here. But now you have to keep structures current here as well as in Sightline. So I know Ron's wrestling on that thought right now. So you can see that this brought up that it has an LA in it, and it does have the numbering sequence, so we can sequence them again, just like we have in Sightline. What's over on the other side, you'll see is you have some what they call described documents. Described documents are the current version that is available today, and reference documents is locked. The version of the document at the time that you placed it against this part. So in other words, this freezes where the other one floats. So when I created this part, like say 5 years ago, this would be the reference document at the time. It could have been the warranty statement, let's say. But I could have the warranty in the described documents, and that'll be the warranty as of today. So it's a nice thing that you can see 2 different versions. And then down below that, you'll have your CAD document. So there's 3 different types of documents that can be in a part: reference, described, and CAD. And then of course then you have your other things as well, where you may have uses. So Again, this, you'll see the labor came up here, and we have all the where used in history as well. So a lot of ways you can slice and dice parts and structures.
All right. Well, I can tell by the glazed look in your eyes that we've met the time requirement. Real quick, it's important that you go into PTC University. Yes, it's long. I know Stan went through it, but at least you're going to get acclimated with the system, how it functions. In the system, the quick links, there is a help link.
Yep.
And in there's a Windchill start guide. Also, if you look in SharePoint under PLM, Monique has put together storyboards for different functions. So it would be a good idea, you know, to get in there, think about what you typically do in Adept or Sightline, try and replicate that then in the Windchill. I know there's issues with installations still. We're going to get those resolved as quickly as possible. Monique and Don Steven are the responsible parties. So we'll let them know and we'll get that resolved as quickly as possible. So Craig's logging into PTC University, which will then give you your assigned modules.
When do we have to be educated by?
That is beyond the scope of this presentation. I know it's a... I'm not exactly sure. The go live date was November 1.
Yes.
So we can see we're already a few weeks into that. Craig, I don't, you're on here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No. I'm not exactly sure when the switch is going to occur.
Okay, I'm just asking the question because there's several people here that are.
Well, with what we gave you here, hopefully take this back with you, you can go into the test environment and do search and print. That's what we're trying to say. Right now, I'd say 80 or 90% of us are only going to search and print. All right? And hopefully this is enough to get you to start at least doing that. And I think when we were talking to Ron and Monique is you can use the online training at PTC University, do a little bit at a time, and use it as a background detail to help you with what's in this handout.
So,
But it's gonna be a lot more information than what's in this.
so a person in production, what is this, what is the university information that was assigned to them applicable to what they're going to do? If they go into Windchill and navigate through here and do the university, is that going to be information that they need to know?
Yeah, it's the basic user. Yep, correct.
Yes. Is it more than what they need to know? Yes.
How?
I don't know how I can truncate that for them, but think about the typical day-to-day activities that you're using Adept or Sightline, and then try and duplicate that in there. So I went through the heavy user module and the CAD modules. Yes, they are, they're long, but this is a much more robust system. Where Adept, we sort of dialed back some things, so you're not integrated into AutoCAD like you're going to be now. Sightline, there was a CAD module for that. Jack Lacey didn't want to put it in there. So, we've sort of modified our systems to where we wanted to be most efficient. Now, was that was the business decision made at the time. So, I don't have the authority or credentials to tell you that, if the PLM is, or the project managers who roll this out, then not the road, but they're not going to be harmed by it.
Bob, in the beginning, you said that an email went out to all the potential users. I don't think.
November 2nd, yes.
I don't think you hit everybody because I know we had this conversation, I wasn't on Craig's list, and I still haven't received anything,
Okay,
so you might want to.
No, you're one of the misusers. Remember, we had about 5 of us in the room that were missed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a status on when we're gonna actually get the email?
Every day, we're hoping that they will add you, yes.
and again, there are some issues with this system. It's not going to be.
Yeah, there's almost 50% in the room that can't even get into Windchill right now, we know that.
But again, this was sort of like an introduction. Windchill's here, it's coming. Let's get ready. So, but yes, if there's any issues, and if you don't see this in the system center installation, software installation, if it's not there, let us know. We can promote your request to the team. Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you very much. I know that this has been a challenge, and we appreciate everyone's attention.